Welcome into the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nick Roloff, and today's show we will be breaking down how the Miami Heat got dominated, let's say, in that second half against the Denver Nuggets in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. A disappointing performance for sure after what I thought was a decent first half to where you just absolutely laid an egg in the second half. Kind of reminded me of Game 4 of Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. We'll get into it in more depth coming up. But first, make sure you subscribe. Do you want the Heat to win the NBA Finals? Seriously, do you want to win? Well, hit that sub button. Subscribe for Miami Heat NBA Finals dubs. A little different. We will be live for the NBA Finals the rest of the series, and we will be here for the NBA offseason, whether it be the NBA draft, NBA free agency, or trade rumors. I know you guys have seen those Damian Lillard trade rumors floating around Twitter and the internet. I can't talk about them just yet because we're focused on the gold hand, which is winning the NBA Finals. But we'll be here all offseason, so make sure you hit that sub button and join the crew as we go to 1,300. Now, looking back at this game, Heat lose 109-94, and there's some staggering numbers that show up just from this little box score that is on your screen. One, obviously the Heat only put up 94 points, and I don't think it is surprising to see the Heat in their two losses have scored 93 points and 94 points, and in their one win they scored 111. Scoring is really the key, and I could talk a lot about this Heat defense, but honestly, giving up 109 points to Denver, I'm not even that mad looking back on it. Like I've always said, keep them under 110, and I think you have a real chance to win the ball game. It's just that your offense really struggled, shooting 37% from the field. That is just flat out unacceptable. 37% from the field is abysmal. 11 for 35 from 3, 31%. But look at those rebounding numbers. And something that I don't even know how it's even possible, and I can't really comprehend it, is how the Heat got out rebounded by 25, but shot 12 more shots. I don't really know how that correlates because usually it's the other way around. Hey, but I just look at the stats. I don't really understand how that came to fruition. But the Nuggets absolutely dominated the Heat on the glass, and they just shot 51%. And we'll talk about what Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray did right now because they just manhandled this Heat defense. It was literally a two-man game. Christian Brown, we'll talk about him in a second too for Denver. He came off the bench and was really good for Denver. But the two main guys were Jokic and Jamal Murray, who made NBA history as the first teammates in NBA Finals history to ever have a 30-point triple-double in the same game. But Jokic's stat line of 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists, those numbers have never been done before in the NBA Finals. That is just flat out insane. And shooting efficiently at 57% and then 1 of 2 from 3. He was really good in this game, and obviously he's been outstanding through the first 3 games in this series. But yesterday it was on a different breed. He would just get it in that little high post area, little one-step drop floater, and his soft touch around the rim is unparalleled, just able to get it to go whenever the ball hit the rim, it seemed like. And Jamal Murray really dominated this game as well. He got a triple-double, but he might have stat padded that a little bit at the end of the game to make sure he got it. But anyway, 30 points. They had no answer for him, 34 to be exact for Jamal Murray. He was unguardable in the mid-range and at three-point land. He really was the only person that was cooking from deep for Denver. And I think Eric Spoelstra and Miami have a lot of adjustments they're going to need to make, and I saw some adjustments already thrown out on Heat Twitter. Shout out Brady Hawk, one of the best in the business at breaking down film for the Miami Heat. And he was talking about how there was just a lot of miscommunication on Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, screens and dribble handoff, to where Jimmy Butler would sometimes go over the screen, sometimes go under, and Bam, who is the defender for Jokic, would not have an idea if he was playing drop coverage or if he's hedging and making sure Jamal Murray can't step into a nice little jumper. There was just too much miscommunication on the Miami Heat defensive side of things, and I think that's what led to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic cooking on all cylinders. Now, Christian Brown, off the bench, the rookie out of Kansas, with a nice 15-point game, 7 of 8 from the field. He struggled in Game 2 defensively, but showed up and rebounded in Game 3 with a big-time showing on offense, and that's just that championship pedigree he has from Kansas. And I'm not going to talk about the NBA draft just quite yet for the Miami Heat, but drafting winning players and players with championship pedigree from college will always work out in the NBA to me. That's why I love Andre Jackson Jr. out of UConn. Too early at 18, but love him anyway. But are you worried about being down 2-1? I got to be honest. I'm not worried down 2-1. And that might be surprising to you. But if the Heat win Game 4, the series is tied 2-2 through the first 4 games. And if you would have told me that before the series started, I would have been very happy. And I predicted the Heat in 7, they would win Game 7 on the road in Denver. I think that's still possible. You just win at home in Game 4 on Friday. You probably will lose in Game 5 in Denver. And then you win Game 6 back in Miami, and then you win that winner-take-all in Game 7. So I'm not worried. I'm typing my N's, but if you're worried, type your W's. If you're like me, type your N's. Let me know in the comments section. Now let's switch to the Heat side of things here. And Jimmy Butler led the way for the Heat's offense with 28 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. I don't think he was good, though. And I liked how he was more aggressive looking for a shot. I said that on our stream, so make sure you do check us out there when it comes to Friday night's game. But he looked aggressive getting to that mid-range area and that little floater spot. I just think he missed a lot of bunnies that he usually makes. I could count on my hands about 4 or 5 shots that he missed, that he got into his spot 8-10 feet away from the basket in the middle of the paint, and he put up that little push floater, and he just missed. I expect Jimmy to bounce back and hit those shots more, and I think this is one of the most quiet 28 points Jimmy Butler will ever put up. He kept the Heat afloat a little bit in that first half, but he had 14 points in the first and the second half, and those 14 points in the second half were so meaningless. So this is an empty 28 points from Jimmy. I need him to be more impactful in Game 4. Bam, on the other hand, I actually thought he played well. I mean, 22 points and 17 rebounds is a really good stat line for him, but the problem for him is that he's becoming too inefficient in this series, that he's putting up numbers, but he's taking more shots than usual. And as I've always said, I like when Bam takes a lot of shots because when he's aggressive on offense and gets cooking, that's the best version of this Heat team. But I just still need him to not shoot 33%. Centers in the NBA, I get to the finals, so it's going to go down. But if you're a center and not shooting 50% in this league, that just means you're not that talented of an offensive player. And I know Bam is, so I'm going to need him to be better on that offensive end. And my homie Marshall Green pointed out that I think Bam is settling for too many jump shots in this series. Jokic is slow-footed and isn't the best rim protector. I think Bam needs to utilize his quickness and leaping ability to get by Jokic and finish at the rim. We saw him head tap Jokic on a putback in that first half. I'm going to need him to get to the rim more and stop settling for those mid-range jumpers. I know you can hit them, but attack the glass and attack the rim. Gabe Vincent had his first bad game of the NBA Finals. Coming into this game, he was averaging 21 points per game through the first 2 and had 57% shooting efficiency while shooting over 50% from 3 as well. Vincent struggled in this game, 7 points, 2 of 10 from the field. He always need a third scorer to help Jimmy and Bam. They didn't really get a third scorer in this game, and I think that's the reason why they only put up 94 points, and that's why Tyler Herron could be pretty big if he were to be able to return in this series. Unlikely, though. Let's talk about Kyle Lowry here, who I actually thought played pretty decent in this game. 9 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 of 4 from 3, hit that one late, but that's about it. Lowry left the game with a minute to go after suffering a little bit of an injury, and I wanted to talk about it. There's no real update. I checked this morning. No one really talked about it that much, but he was grimacing, holding his groin area after leaving the floor, after slipping on a wet spot and almost doing a full-on split during the game. I'm a little concerned because the Heat don't have the most depth right now, especially with Tyler Herron looking like he's not returning. I really do think Lowry's going to have to play an important role if the Heat want to win this series, so I hope he's okay. Just wanted to provide you guys with a little update on Kyle Lowry. But the Heat are down 2-1, and I want to know, who do you guys think wins the NBA Finals? If you think the Heat are going to come back like I do and win this series, down 2-1, type your H's. If you think the Nuggets win this series, type your N's down in the comment section. I am not worried whatsoever, so let me know. Make sure you do subscribe here to the Heat Report. We will be live for Game 4 Friday night, so make sure you check us out and tune in. Super Chat menu is unlocked. Shout out to everyone who stayed through that stream and Super Chatted throughout the night. Shout out to y'all. Make sure you guys are here throughout the rest of the series. Let's go Heat, man. We need to win Game 4. Backs against the wall. Need a win on Friday.